welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Alyssa. I am 21 years old and I am a bodybuilder, and I am currently in my first bikini prep, but we're not going to really do any prep related video today. We're going to be talking about my fitness journey. Buckle up because we're about to go for a ride down memory lane of when I started in the gym and how I got to where I am today. That was so how I got to where I am today. Literally what this video is going to be. So I'm pretty much going to be raw dogging this video. And what I mean by that is I don't have any note cards, don't have any like main points I want to hit. Like I don't have that. Okay, this is going to be a very like raw, authentic, just kind of going back to when I started in the gym and just seeing what I can remember, honestly, because I feel like if I can remember it, that means it was an important point. So I'm just sitting in my room on my bed, wrapped up in my blanket because I'm so cold all the time. Got my coffee here. It actually looks like poop water, but it's good to me. It's just coffee, stevia, and a little bit of sugar-free syrup. And we're gonna get right into this because I don't know how long this is gonna be either. I'm gonna try to kind of dumb it down, I guess, as much as I can, because I don't want to be sitting here for hours, and you probably don't want to listen to me talk for hours because I wouldn't. I hope you are ready to embark on this little journey with me, and let's get into my fitness journey. Oh, now I'm ready. My fitness journey, I think we're gonna start in high school just because I feel like that's where everyone kind of starts. I played volleyball all 4 years of high school, and that is when I kind of started learning about working out and lifting weights, just because we were forced to go to the weight room and lift weights. I just think it's so funny looking back that every time we would go into the weight room and we would get our little sheet of all the exercise that we had to do that day, and I would see like RDL and I'd be like, what is an RDL? Like, what's a dumbbell row? Like, I was clueless, as anybody was, on exercises and like what to do. I had no idea. I also think it's kind of comical to think that whenever we would hear that we were going to the weight room that day, we would dread it. Okay, no one wanted to go. It was half the time, I'm not gonna lie, we would go and just kind of dick around in the weight room, but nobody wanted to go to the weight room, and I just think that's so funny because I voluntarily do that now. That was kind of where my introduction to the gym was, in lifting weights. Like I said, I played volleyball all 4 years. I was a pretty active kid, I guess. I didn't really think about nutrition either. I ate whatever the fuck I wanted. Freshman to junior year, I was a teenager. Like, I would eat whatever I want. Like, freshman year, every home volleyball game, me and my friends would go to Dairy Queen and we would get the $5 meal deal of the chicken strip basket and an ice cream sundae. Like, I did not really care, and I didn't need to care because I was 15. Your metabolism is just like through the roof, and you know, been playing volleyball every day. Like, I didn't give a fuck, okay? I don't want to sound like I'm just better than everybody else in this aspect, but I didn't really struggle with body image in high school, at least up until like senior year was when that kind of started. Before that, I didn't really struggle with body image, and I am so incredibly grateful for that because I feel like now especially it's very, very common for girls in high school to struggle with that. And that makes me so sad because it's just, you shouldn't have to worry about that kind of thing when you're that young. But freshman to junior year, I really did not struggle with that. I was I wasn't overweight or I was a normal kid. I had a normal body in my eyes, at least. That period of time was just not really pivotal in my fitness journey. It was just kind of when I got introduced to weightlifting. That was my main form of activity. And once volleyball was like done for the season, I wouldn't do really anything. Then we get to junior year, and junior year was the year of COVID. Sometimes, oh my god, my nose is fucking running. Sometimes I forget that COVID happened. It's kind of like a fever dream to me. I'm like thinking back and like, oh wait, that actually happened. Like, it's not like a TV show or something. Like, that actually was my life. That was my junior year when COVID hit. And That was a pivotal point of my fitness journey because I was introduced to Miss Chloe Ting. I feel like a lot of people have Chloe Ting as a part of their fitness journey just because she was that popular. She influenced so many people that you could get abs in 2 weeks and shred and tone in 2 weeks. And I was one of those people that she influenced. Okay, I was a victim. I did those videos every morning in my room. I would roll out my yoga mat, do my little ab shred video, and go on with my day. Honestly, Chloe Ting, yes, it helped her gain a following, but also I feel like it taught me discipline. Waking up every day and doing something to move your body intentionally, and like that's what I learned from Chloe Ting. And now mentally on that end, I didn't really benefit from Chloe Ting, but physically and just like from a discipline standpoint, Chloe Ting did teach me that, you know, you gotta show up for yourself every day no matter what if you want to do it or not. So COVID was kind of when I started to become more aware of my body. Again, I wasn't really like nutritionally doing anything like special. Like I didn't have any fitness tracking apps or anything like that. I didn't have a food scale, nothing like that. I had no idea about anything when it came to nutrition, like protein. What was that? That was just kind of when I started to notice my body a little bit more and become more aware of what I looked like, and started like comparing myself to my friends and stuff like that. But then senior year, once we were back into school and back playing volleyball again, I played volleyball my senior year, was weightlifting. That was back to normal for me. After I was done with volleyball for good this time, because years before I would play volleyball in the fall, and then also in the winter I would play traveling volleyball. So I was always playing something and I was always doing something. But senior year, after fall season, I was done. I was done playing sports. It was out of my life, okay? And this is when I got a gym membership for the first time. And that was just because I wanted to keep up my activity level, because I knew that I didn't have anything. Most of my friends, they played basketball and softball and yada yada for the rest of the year. I didn't. So I got a gym membership. And I remember walking into the gym for the first time and I just didn't really know what to do. I feel like a lot of people go through that though. I mean, you know, you walk into a place for the first time and you're like, okay, I'm here. Now what do I do? So that was me when it came to the gym. And at first when I started, I basically would just do the same workouts that the athletic trainer at my school would give us for our weight room sessions. I would basically just follow that. And that worked for me for a while. And I would go with a friend from time to time, and we would do like 20 minutes of cardio or something when we got there. So before the weightlifting, which now I know that that's not usually optimal, but we would do some cardio when we got there and then do a little lift or whatever. Again, nutritionally, not really paying attention to that. That was kind of my first go around at the gym. Once I started getting into that and getting a little bit more comfortable with exercises and machines and weights at the gym, that's when I started to find workouts on like Instagram, and I think TikTok was a thing by then. I don't really know for sure, but that's when I started to find other workouts on there. When it came to having a split, I don't really remember if I had one. I don't know. I would honestly just kind of go to the gym and be like, okay, what do I want to do today? And then look on Instagram and find a workout to do that. So like I would pull up to the gym, I want to hit quads today. So then I would never want to actually hit quads, but I would go on Instagram and search like quads workout and find your average like swipe workout from your fitness influencer, and I would do that, you know? I didn't really ever go into the gym with a plan. I just kind of went to say that I went and keep up my activity level. And again, with my body, I don't remember ever seeing like significant change in my body at this point. I just kind of maintained the body that I had, if I'm gonna be honest, probably just because, yeah, I was working out, but I also like didn't really care when it came to what I ate. I didn't track anything at this point. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of when I started tracking. I don't even know. I think it was that summer after senior year, because that summer after senior year was when I started to, I guess, struggle. During school, during all of that, I just kind of went to the gym every day and ate like a normal person. That was fine and that worked because I didn't really have like aesthetic goals back then. I mean, it is so strange to see like high schoolers now. I love seeing high schoolers in the gym sometimes. I love seeing it and seeing people like be more serious with it because I wish I was like that. But it's just so crazy to see like the difference between when I was in high school and high schoolers now. Not that I'm crazy old, okay? I've been out of high school for what, 4 years? But it's crazy to see the difference in how things evolve. Made it through senior year, made it through high school, graduated, yay. Okay, it's summer, and that's when I think this is when I first bought a food scale and started tracking my food. I remember my initial why of doing it, but I started tracking my food and had no idea what I was doing. And what I mean by that was I had no idea how much I should have been eating as opposed to what I was eating. That whole summer, I just kind of tracked and didn't really pay attention to protein, carbs, anything like that. I only paid attention to calories, which probably was not the best thing to do because I did not eat enough. It wasn't necessarily in like a I want to get skinny way. I think it was more of a game to me. It was a game to see like, oh, how much could I not eat? How little of food can I eat? That's not a game to play with yourself. Like, that's stupid. But I was, again, clueless going into this. It was kind of one of those things where it was like I would track for like the first half of the day and then I would kind of get like over it. I would just like go for the rest of my day and like eat whatever I wanted. So it really was not beneficial to me whatsoever. I just kind of got that to say that I started tracking my food and was watching what I was eating because I'm eating healthy, which again, I don't know why, because I had no aesthetic goal when it came to the gym and working out. So I don't know why I thought that tracking food was going to be beneficial for me, but that's when I started doing it. And then I went to college, and I initially went to a college that was about 3 hours away from me. It was a culture shock for me, for sure. Being 3 hours away and I didn't have a car, so that was kind of hard for me, and just going into dining hall food was not good. I was very scared of gaining the freshman 15, as anyone honestly probably would be. Because of that, I developed this just like constant fear that I was going to gain weight. So I would go to the gym every day at school and just I was still lifting weights and doing so much cardio, and I vividly remember every time I would go eat at the dining hall, I would get the same exact thing every single time because I was so scared to try anything else and have it affect me in a negative way. If you're asking, do you remember what you eat? Oh yeah, I do remember. It would be a giant salad with chicken, little bit of cheese, all the veggies, some type of vinaigrette, maybe a crouton, probably not though, and they would have these like little rolls and I would get one of those. And that is what I would have for lunch and dinner every single day. For breakfast, I would have one of those like Dannon Light and Fit yogurts or whatever, and a bowl of the Better Oats oatmeal because I knew it was lower calorie. So I would have that for breakfast every morning, the salad for lunch, the salad for dinner, and I don't remember if I would snack or not. Maybe sometimes I would have popcorners and stuff, but that was what I would eat every single day and do all my cardio and all of my lifting and all of that. I would do that every single day because I was so scared that if I did anything else, I would gain weight. My biggest fear to go to school, come back for a break, and have people think, oh, she gained the freshman 15. Like that idea petrified me. It was that fueled my, I guess, fear of gaining weight. And then also during this time, I was going through a breakup, which why wouldn't I go through a breakup through this period of time too? On top of that, I lost a lot of weight. I lost a lot of weight in my freshman year of college, and I I don't want to say I had depression or I was depressed, but like I was not okay. I had a hard time making friends, and I went to a school where like if you didn't make friends in your first like 2 weeks or so, you were fucked. I was very like isolated. I felt very isolated. I felt very not okay. And because I was so isolated and so like lonely, I felt like the only thing I could do was work out and eat what I eat and go about my day. I was probably coming home like every weekend, and keep in mind, I didn't have a car. So I would have to ride a bus home every single weekend just because I hated my life there. It was just a really, really rough time, and I lost a lot of weight. One, because I wanted to, just because to have that sense of control. That was the only thing I could really control, was the amount that I was working out and what I was eating. And that was that. I also lost my period during this time just because I was so small. I have drafts in my TikTok of some TikToks that I made in my dorm room back then, and I just look at myself and I'm like, oh my god, like someone get this girl some help. Long story short, I did not last a full year at school. I came home after my fall semester just because I absolutely hated my life there. And I came home and I transferred schools and I did online for the next like year and a half. And when I came home, I first of all had to get my health in check just because I lost a period because I was so small. I had to get that in order, and one of the things that I had to do in order to do that was gain weight. This is when I really, really started getting into the gym. It was around this time I was following more bodybuilders, I guess you could say. Some of the bodybuilders that I followed first were like Kenzie Vance, Hope, Bree, Soccer. There's probably a couple of others too, but those were just some of the like people that I first started following. And that is when I was introduced to the fact that you need to eat to grow and gain muscle and get big and just like be strong. That's what I did. So I again was still tracking my food, and the idea of gaining weight wasn't honestly the best in my mind, but I knew that I had to do it, one, for my health, and two, just because I just did not look good. Yes, I was small, yes, I was skinny, but I just did not look good. Like I looked unhealthy. And I don't know if people around me like noticed it at all, but I wasn't healthy. Never like diagnosed with any eating disorder or anything like that. I just had a constant fear of gaining weight, and I just had a fear of certain foods just because that was always something that I controlled, and just having that out of my control scared me. I was never really diagnosed with anything like that, and I don't think I ever really had an eating disorder, but I just definitely scared that I would lose control. I moved back home, started doing online school, and this is when I went into like a bulk, I guess you could say, and I was successful. I put on a lot of muscle in my opinion. I don't know. I was eating a lot, and this is when I kind of gained more knowledge of, okay, I need to eat protein. I need to eat a good like macro balanced meal, not just low calorie, you know? That's when I started eating more foods like chicken, yogurt, egg whites, like all of your bodybuilder foods, whatever that fucking means. That's when I started being introduced into the more like bodybuilding style of training, and I loved it. This is when my love for the gym just like stemmed, and it honestly became my whole entire personality, just because I was at home. Friends were off at college, so like the gym was pretty much like all I had. I would say from my sophomore year of college into junior year, I was honestly constantly in a growing phase. I never really went through like a cut or anything like that because I needed to gain the weight. I needed to put on size just because of how small I was. So that's what I did, baby. I put on that muscle. I grew an ass, and I'm forever proud of myself for that, just because that was one thing in high school I never really had. So the fact that I was able to grow on myself, I just kind of like, I eat my own ass for that, okay? No pun intended. Junior year of college, that's when I decided, okay, I maybe want to have like the college experience a little bit. So I moved to college and I lived with my best friend down at school for a year. I was still in the gym. I wasn't really tracking my food as like religiously, just because I wanted to enjoy my time at college, and pretty much maintained that entire year. But it was during this year that I started getting the idea of, I want to compete. And I really wanted to do it this was last year, basically. I really wanted to do it last year. I was doing so much research on coaches and learning what it takes to be in a prep and just like what it is. I started following a lot more bodybuilders. I just got more familiar with the lifestyle and what it's like. And so I really wanted to compete last year. I was very close to starting with a coach last year and starting that process just a year earlier. But like I said, I was at school and I was paying rent. And rent is not a cheap thing, especially where we were living. Like, it was not cheap at all. It just didn't make sense for me to get a coach because I knew I would not be able to afford that. So that kind of like flushed that idea away from me. Like, oh, I want to compete, but I can't financially. Like, I would not be able to do it. I make it through last year, and then over this last summer, I started making a lot more money. And so that idea started creeping back up in my mind. I'm like, I really want to compete. And so I started doing more research for finding a coach and finding, who I want to work with, because chances are, first coach you talk to, you might not like vibe with them. And I talked to a couple of coaches down at school last year, and they were good and everything, but I didn't catch a vibe with them, okay? It's all about catching a vibe. But then I found the coach that I'm currently working with, and I was like, okay, she coached some girls that went to the gym, the same gym as me at school, and they also competed. And so that's kind of how I found her. And I saw their success stories, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this girl a call, a try, and we're gonna see if we catch a vibe, okay? And we got a vibe. I love my coach. Her name is Daniela Hendrickson, and she's from my state. She's from Minnesota. She just lives about 2 hours away from me. I'm really hoping I'll be able to like go and meet her in these next couple of weeks and like train with her and pose with her in person. But that is how I met my coach, or that's how I came across my coach, I guess. I started working with her in August. August to November, I was in a growing phase. We tried to push my food up as much as possible before starting a prep, because you don't want to start a prep on too low calories, because then you're going to have to get really low in order to get lean. So from August to November, we pushed food, pushed training, tried to gain as much muscle as possible. And then November, I started my first prep, and now it's February, and I am currently 8 weeks out. I'm so happy. Like, I am so happy that I got to this point. I never thought I would get to this point in my fitness journey. Relationship with food it's the best it's ever been. I remember the countless days of, I just want to know what it's like to not think about food every second of every hour, because that's what my life was like. I just constantly thought about food because it was the only thing in my mind that I could control. So it's all that I thought about. To get to a point right now where that's not the case, and I'm following through on a journey that I've always wanted to do, it makes me so happy, because it just proves to myself that I can do it. That's like my why behind wanting to start a prep and compete, was just because, yes, this prep is 21 weeks long, but it also represents my 6-year fitness journey. Like, it reflects so much more than just 21 weeks to me. It shows how I went from being super small to gaining all of this muscle, to not really knowing what I wanted to do with my fitness to finally getting my shit together, working with a coach, and putting this shit on stage. I'm so excited to just reveal a package that I'm just so proud of. And yes, I want to win. Yes, I want to, you know, get first place for my first competing season. Like, that would be absolutely insane to me. But also, this to me is just proving that I can do something hard. I can do hard shit. I can be disciplined, and I can put in the work. And that to me is worth so much more. So that's my fitness journey. I don't want to make you sit here for an hour and listen to me yap about how I learned what an RDL was. But that's kind of where I started as a fitness girly, and that's just where I am today. I hope you can relate to this in some way. I just want to show that no matter where you start in your fitness journey, you never know where you're gonna be, like 2 years, 3 years down the line. Like, you don't know where you're gonna end up. I did not know I was gonna end up being in my first prep right now. Like, that to me is just still crazy. Like and subscribe for more prep content, fitness content, lifestyle content, like literally everything. I want to do it all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.